Welcome back to Loon's Leaves, y'all. Today we're doing a plant haul from Home Depot and Lowe's. All right, y'all. So today I went to both Home Depot and Lowe's, and I'm going to insert some footage of the greenhouses themselves and the indoor plant section, so that way you guys can see what they have to offer during this spring season. And I was generally surprised, especially by Home Depot. Home Depot in my area tends to be a little lackluster compared to Lowe's. Their plants tend to be a little bit more unhealthy. Lots of them have brown leaves or crushed leaves. They're not as well taken care of typically. Today, they really surprised me though. And they usually don't have as great of a variety of plants as Lowe's does. They are less than a mile away from each other and tend to carry a lot of the same type of brands or greenhouses of plants. So, before we get into the haul, I am going to roll some footage of Home Depot first. That's where I went first, and I ended up purchasing quite a few plants there. I did go into today with a little bit of a plan. I am going to be in a wedding in June, and the bride asked for very lush hanging plants to use in her venue. I have found 3 so far that actually came from Aldi and were extremely well priced. But since then, I've been having a little bit of trouble. So I was looking today for some of them, as well as looking for some plants specific for our outdoor patio space. I wanted to use, I want to be able to plant some peppers, and I also wanted to be able to plant some mint. I have purchased quite a few plants for our patio already because I was at Lowe's a couple of weeks ago, but these were some things I couldn't find that first trip around that I was hoping to either find at Home Depot today or at my second trip at Lowe's. So let's roll the footage of Home Depot. Before I do that though, I should warn you, the footage is not great, okay? I do not normally film in public, so I was slightly embarrassed by that. And there are going to be a few choppy scenes just because I was filming something and then somebody would walk down the aisle or pop their head up from a display, and I wanted to quick pan away. For some reason, even though it's a Wednesday and I went super early in the morning, which I typically do on the weekends, and there's no one around, everyone and their mother decided to go to Home Depot and Lowe's today to start working on their outdoor spaces, I'm assuming, because there was just tons and tons of people in the greenhouses. But let's roll the footage of Home Depot.
Okay, so I'm going to do a bit of a voiceover during this part because there was a lot of music playing at both stores, and I don't want to get a copyright strike or anything like that. There's also like birds chirping and beeping noises happening. But right now, this is Home Depot. We're looking at the outdoor section. This was kind of right before you walked into their greenhouse. I'm assuming at night they wheel all of this back inside, and you can just see how many aisles and aisles they had of varieties of edible plants and or consumable plants of some type. They also had a ton of really massive, like look at this tree here, really massive outdoor plants for you to kind of use for landscaping purposes. So in the outdoor section were all the consumable plants, the herbs, the veggies, the fruits, all the things you're going there for your gardens. There was also tons and tons of pollinating flowers. Here are some leftover Easter flowers that were on clearance. These are some more flowers for outside. A lot of people were looking at these. I had to wait a while to get some good footage of this. There's some peace lilies coming up right here, and just lots of flowers in the outside part, as well as other things you might use for landscaping. Now that we're inside, they had a pretty substantial, like at least 2 aisles of cactus and succulents. There was, of course, the horribly sprayed aloe and succulent plants. They were sprayed with some sort of paint. And then as you can see here, the little pink and orange plastic flowers that are glued onto cactus that I'll pan down to in a second. Sorry again that this is so fast. I was super embarrassed, if you can't tell by the choppy footage. So here are the horribly glued flowers onto the cacti, but underneath they had the most beautiful cactus and aloe and succulent selection that were in those larger pots. Those were about $22 each. And then they had faux lavender, is what I just panned on. So I'm not sure why they had the faux lavender in the plant section, but it was there. It was kind of weird. So I'm moving my cart around. Sorry, again, my fingers are in the way. And then you can see their even bigger selection of succulents on this side. So the other side was mostly focused on cacti. Here's a random bromeliad. There's the spray painted aloe down there. And then more of the massive cacti up top, spray painted aloe and succulents and more cacti. So they had a really good selection. Usually you only see about one little shelf of those, or like a one little 3-tiered shelf of those. Maybe it's front and back in Home Depot, and they had a good 2 aisles of that this time. There was a ton of flower bulbs and seeds down that one aisle that didn't really pan down. There was a woman standing at the end there. Didn't want to make her uncomfortable. And then this section was how Home Depot usually looks. These are just like sad little rejects that they put over here. I don't know, except for this guy. He looks fabulous. Very nice. And I think somebody made a last-minute decision and just left him there, because these are all looking very sad. They're wilted, leaves are browning, they're dried up, they need some water desperately. They were in the clearance section. They had this little spot over here with more succulents. Hello, watering cans. There was some aloe, bigger succulents in some more trendy-looking little pots. More succulents. Lots and lots of green foliage. And yeah, everything was looking very, very healthy. They had a huge selection too of almost all the plants. There was at least 10 to 20 of each type of plant. There's some big elephant ear alocasia. These can be inside and outside. In fact, I planted a bulb of the elephant ear alocasia outside this year to see if it'll grow from a bulb. Lots of peace lilies. They had tons of them to choose from. Palms of every type as well. They had some ferns. Almost bought this guy here. I forget what kind it is. I want to say a flatfoot fern or something, I think. I'm not sure. But I almost bought that one because I thought it was so interesting. They had these really huge, lush Boston ferns. I mean, if you look at the one on the end there, it's massive. Seeds and bulbs. Sorry if you're getting dizzy. This little bonsai jade tree. They had a peace lily, and then this is where I picked up one of these plants. So I did in fact buy this Mediterranean palm. I will tell you about it in a little while. And then going back down towards that massive Boston fern. There was a lot of obstacles in Home Depot. That was a bit annoying, but not as many obstacles as there was in Lowe's. There's some dumb cane trees. They were really tall. So if you're looking for a large, nice, tall, slender one, maybe check out Home Depot. Snake plants of lots of different types. There was some money trees back there. More palms. This is a fiddle leaf fig, but right next to me, caught on one of the leaves, was one of those Mediterranean palms. There's a few more different types of ferns over here. A variegated version of that fern I just saw and almost bought. Sorry, this part is so fast. There were a lot of people in the aisles that I was trying to avoid making eye contact with and kind of not panning on them specifically. Some more bonsais. Bromeliads in every color you could possibly imagine, and they all looked so healthy. I was genuinely shocked. And then I did end up picking up one of these little guys here, which I will talk about in a few moments.
All right, so at Home Depot, I ended up purchasing a few plants that I could not find at Lowe's a couple of weeks ago. And I ended up going to Lowe's after Home Depot anyway, and they were there this time around. It was just something they didn't offer in the first few weeks of spring when they were first putting out all the garden stuff. And one of those is some sweet banana peppers. I wanted to get some substantial plants for the garden because the seeds that I decided to grow are doing well, but they just aren't as hardy and as big as I wanted them to be at the start of spring. So I'm going to supplement with some of these guys. So I got 2 of the banana peppers. I also got 2 of the regular red bell peppers. And I got 1 for the garden of a romaine lettuce. I wanted to pick up one of these because my partner and I oftentimes just want a little bit of lettuce to garnish like a burger or a sandwich or something, and we never have just regular lettuce. We eat a lot of spring mix, so this will be perfect for that purpose, and I'm excited to watch it grow and possibly harvest from it and then plant it again so that way I can continue creating romaine lettuce. So again, I have lettuce from seed as well that might work out pretty well too, but we'll see how that goes. And then at Home Depot, I had 2 surprise plants that I didn't really intend to go in for, but decided to pick up anyway because they were so special. This guy did spill in the car, so he's looking a little rough for wear right now, and he was about $5. I'm not exactly sure of the identification of this plant. I have a pretty good idea. I think it is either a string of turtles or a string of pearls, or not pearls, a string of coins. So string of coins or string of turtles, but I cannot be sure. It looks like it's gonna vine. It's pretty small right now though, so I'm not sure exactly. And I will try to ID it and put the official name up on the screen before putting out this video. So this was a cute little find. Not sure where I'm gonna put it yet, if it's gonna be hanging or on the windowsill or maybe in the greenhouse, who knows, but cute little find and pretty affordable. The next find was this Mediterranean fan palm. So right now, the palm fronds are kind of growing like this, where they look like big paddle-like leaves, and you can see some holes in the window back here, like in the leaf through the window light, and that is going to separate and open up to be big fan-like palms before the season's over. So as these get bigger, then they will open up and kind of fan out. So this is going to be an indoor plant. You could keep it outside, I'm sure, during the summertime and it would be fine. This guy was about $25, which is pretty steep, but I've been looking for this plant for a long time at a big box store and haven't been able to find one. I specifically want one that looks like this, and I will put a picture up on the screen. It kind of has that silvery blue like color, and I'm pretty sure they're the same type of plant, just not the same like name, not the same identification. So I will put that up on the screen as well. So this guy has a pretty close second. I don't think I'll be able to find, I think it's called a silver, might be a silver star or something, silver something. I don't think I'll be able to ever find that in a big box store, but you never know. So this guy was a nice little look-alike plant, but a little bit more of a splurge. So that is everything I got at Home Depot, including, so the other 2 pepper plants are in here, that's what you see, including this black planter. It's pretty large, and this is what I typically buy for our outdoor patio just because they're very lightweight. They hold up to the elements really, really well. They never crack, they never discolor, and they drain beautifully in the summertime when we get really bad rainstorms. So I picked up another one of these for outside. I also use them inside too. I don't really care about aesthetics as long as they're neutral colors as far as planters go. So that is Home Depot. Now I will run the footage of Lowe's for you guys, which today, Home Depot and Lowe's seem to flip-flop places. Lowe's was a little lackluster to me. They had a good selection as always, but it wasn't as massive as Home Depot's. Home Depot's selection today just blew my mind for outdoor and indoor plants. So I'll show you guys Lowe's and how it went there. Again, the footage is a little bit spotty.
All right, so I'm going to voice over again because I really did not want to talk in public. That's another reason I'm doing the voiceovers. Here's their outdoor consumable plant selection. They have quite a big variety of tomatoes, and they also had a quite big variety of different types of lettuce. But something that really caught my eye was this type of plant, or a new brand of plant from Bonnie Plants called Foodie Fresh, and it was marketed towards chefs and people who are foodies, like this sweet stevia. There was also something called chocolate mint. They had some baby carrots and different types of plants like that. And there was little recipes that I think were linked to the plants that you could go and look up later. So I thought those were really, really cool, and something that definitely caught my eye that Home Depot might have had as well, but I just didn't notice. This is their outdoor selection of plants. It was all right. There's a lot of choppy kind of cuts here because so many people were in the outdoor section. Here's the inside part. None of the hanging plants really caught my eye. None of them looked as healthy as I wanted them to, and none of them would have been as lush and would have grown as much as they needed to before the wedding that I'm going to attend, so I decided not to pick any of those up. There's some bonsai trees. They had a great selection of smaller plants in the 3-inch to 6-inch range. So if you're looking for terrarium plants, greenhouse plants, if you're purchasing one of the IKEA Sockers, or just anything in that small potable range, Lowe's has got you. Home Depot had a beautiful selection, but some of their plants were on the bigger side, more medium to large. So here's some more. There's a couple of begonias up there. There's some ferns down here, some ivy. They had quite a few obstructions in Lowe's, like there was that kiosk in the middle there. Somebody was watering plants. Another person was unloading more boxes of plants as well. So there was so much going on in the Lowe's, as well as trying to dodge around anybody who was actually shopping as well. There's some ferns. They had a huge, and I mean huge, selection of palms, dracaena, and peace lilies here as well. So here's some dracaena trees, and they have like a little purple on the edges of the leaves. Those are really pretty. There's the massive pallets of palms. If you come down here, there are some ponytail palms right here. Yeah, just really large selection of variety of palms and bromeliads. Just like Home Depot had, they had a big selection with many different colors, all looking really healthy and happy. So if you're in the market for that, definitely look at Home Depot or Lowe's. Next, I jump over to the succulents. They had a good variety of succulents, not near the amount of Home Depot, but it was a pretty good selection overall. There was also this small kiosk that they always have they call it the Trending Tropicals collection. I think it's from the coastal greenhouses, and there was just a ton of begonias on there. So in the succulents, again, good selection, not nearly the massive Home Depot. They also had some larger cacti that I'm about to pan on, but nothing near the size and structure of the ones in Home Depot. So if you're looking for massive cacti, definitely go to Home Depot. What I didn't see was any of the nonsense of the glued flowers or the spray painted plants here. So that was a nice surprise.
All right, so I got 4 plants at Lowe's. Yes, counting them, 4. 4 plants at Lowe's. And I found some more plants for the outdoors. So these aren't necessarily indoor plants, they are outdoor plants. And what do we have here? The blue is called a Grace Ward Lithidora. And I just thought this color was stunning. Let me show you guys up closer. It's just so pretty. It's like a bluish purple almost. And I picked this one because it flowers for both spring and summer, which is kind of rare. Usually plants for outside will front load everything in the spring and then just be green in the summer. So I was excited to see that these will be there for the spring and the summer. And these, which are English daisies, will also flower for the spring and the summer. And I thought these were really fun. They will open up to be a little bit more ball-like, as you guys can see on the picture there. And these guys were both $6.98, so around $7 each. And this is exactly how I want to put them outside. I'm going to plant them up, of course, and take them out of their greenhouse pots. But I found this gorgeous, like, sage green, army green, long planter. Usually you can only find these planters in black or that like faux terracotta color, which I just think looks a little bit cheesy when it's not actual terracotta. You can tell it's a plastic. This just looked so nice to me and fits our nice outdoor aesthetic. and I want to add more pollinators to our patio for the bees and the butterflies and things like that. So I think this will be great for them. And then I also picked up this plant, which I was in search for today, mostly peppers and mint, but when I looked for mint, they only had what they called a chocolate mint, and I gave it a little sniff and it smelled a lot like a peppermint patty. So I was afraid if I used it in a recipe or in a cocktail, it'd have a chocolatey flavor, which might be something that's great for a dessert, but not really what I was looking for. So I found this, which is stevia. And I've heard of stevia before. I know they make liquid stevia and I know they make stevia packets. It's basically a sugar alternative that comes from this plant, and then you can put it in your coffee and your baking and things like that. I think it's supposed to be better for you than sugar. And so I decided that I'd give this a try. And if I make a recipe or a cocktail or something, I can put one of these leaves in and see if it will kind of give me that interesting sugary flavor. I'm still in search for mint, but found this and thought it was pretty cool. The company is Bonnie. That's where all of the, or I should say the greenhouse that it came from is Bonnie Greenhouses. That's where all of the food consumable plants came from, and I love Bonnie plants. They are really hardy, they hold up well, they're grown perfectly, they're in great shape. And as long as you care for them and water them properly, fertilize them with natural fertilizer when needed, and use a little bit of natural pesticides, which I will probably make a video on, like soap-based ones and other things like that, so that way you can keep toxins out of your food, but also keep them protected from pests, then Bonnie plants should hold up for you all season long. They had this brand that they called Foodie Fresh, which is where the chocolate, I almost said chocolate basil, where the chocolate mint was also came from. This Foodie Fresh, like, I don't know if it's a brand or like just a line of their plants that they want to put out there. They had little recipes posted alongside them and everything. So I think you might be able to scan something on here and get recipes as well for different ways you can use your herb or consumable plant that they were in fact selling. So that's those four, as well as the planter. So all said and done, I purchased, I think 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I purchased 12 plants. Hold on. I think it's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes. I purchased 12 plants and 2 pretty large planters, all for $108. Now, some of them were a little bit cheaper outdoor plants, but this Mediterranean palm was a $25 plant. So I think I did pretty well at both box stores and finished up what I was really looking for outside for our patio purposes. The only thing I did miss out on was finding those plants for the wedding I'm going to be in, but we still have plenty of time for that as well. I might go to some more larger greenhouses that actually are like going to carry plants of that size and I know will be guaranteed to be there. So I will be giving an update on our patio situation as I get everything planted up and we have a nice day weather-wise. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.